Yep, here we go. We're back. It's Tuesday, and it's Kicking It with Andy. Enter the giveaway. Yes, a 50% off discount code. Bullfrog100 TW2s. Everything under the sun with a Kicker swag pack. Make sure you enter the giveaway at kicker.com/umweekly. And tonight we're going to be talking about good and bad car audio advice. And I got a lot of comments from you guys in Kicker Club. Kicker Club for the win, man. But without further ado, let's kick off the intro, and I'll see you guys in 3 minutes.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Tuesday. We're here. We're doing it. Kicking It with Andy is back, and I'm excited, man. These are the fun ones. Uncle Bobby
Uncle
B.
Bobby B, baby. Uncle Bobby B.
We are starting it off hot tonight. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And man, I miss doing the Kicking It with Andy. It's been a while, a month and a half it seems like. But I'm back, and here we go. Kicker Unmasked, we love you, but Kicking It with Andy, I get to have some fun and sit in the driver's seat and, yeah, just enjoy it and look at it. But guys, do not forget to enter the giveaway at kicker.com/umweekly. The gifts are awesome. The prizes are amazing. 4 winners on the Kickin' It with Andy show, so make sure you guys go enter. But, man, tonight's topic is very wide, very broad. good and bad car audio advice. I mean, I feel like this is where you can get tripped up with no matter what hobby you're in, and also with just maybe getting involved with something and then you're like, man, I just don't want to do this anymore because I'm wasting money. I'm not getting what I want to get. And so told me this is how it's done. So we're going to talk about it. And if you guys got any horror stories, let me know. If you had some good stories of just people helping you out, tag them down below. Say, this guy helped me out. Appreciate all the ones that are actually out there enjoying the hobby and helping a brother out. Appreciate all you guys tuning in tonight. Let's see here. I just want to make sure everything is working on Facebook and YouTube, and we're looking good. All right. I know you guys are probably wondering, what the heck, Andy's live on Tuesday? Yes, we are live on Tuesday, and you're not late, Larry. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate ya. Uncle Bobby B, CAE is here. Thank you, guys. And William, you know you just got to look at it. Sometimes you just got to step back and look at it. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? Just look at it. You know what? Now you're making me want to look at it. And this video, I was looking at it. This is back in 2004.
Let's see if someone put something up. Oh, yeah, look at that. In.
You'll never make it.
Oh, he swooshed it.
Swooshed it. Swooshed it, and would you look at that? We've been looking at it forever. Thank you, William. Appreciate you tuning in, and let's get this party started. Glenn, what is up? How you doing? Thank you for being here, man. Appreciate all you guys. And if you're in Kicker Club and you commented on my post, you're going to be featured tonight, just so you know. Long as it wasn't too much wasted information, but that happens as well sometimes, too. Kyle, thank you for being here. Bryson, almost forgot. You can't forget. Enter the giveaway, guys. Smash the like. You know the thing. Thank you, Kyle. CAE, what is up? Yo, yo, yo. Man, I missed you guys, and here we go. Here we go. Jason W2000, even with 30 years of experience, you can't know everything. There's always more to learn, and that is 1,000,000% of the truth. But we're gonna get into it a little bit, and I feel like, you know, there's so much involved with this, and I know I'm gonna look back at this and be like, why did I not say this? Why did I not say that? And you know, I'm going to try my best. Of course, 60 minutes-ish tonight, and we're going to have fun. Seth Duffy, hey now, what's up, buddy? Thank you for tuning in, man. I love you, buddy. And by the way, we got a store in. Get ready for tomorrow. And Bryson Fields, just subscribe. Would you look at that? Oh, we got to look at it again.
Let's see if someone put something up. Oh, yeah, look at that.
Thank you for looking at it. Thank you for subscribing. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Basehead 30, what is up? How you been, man? I'm ready for tonight. We got so much to unpack. Josh Holden, worst advice ever. Wire your amp to quarter ohm. It won't get hot. And man, that is just a lot in one sentence right there of wiring woofers and wiring below. I don't care what amplifier it is. You know, maybe some do state nowadays because, like, I wouldn't call it inflation, but, you know, just the devaluation of ohmage, you know, like most amplifiers used to be 4 ohm stable and then 2 ohm stable and now 1 ohm stable. Now some are coming out half ohm stable, and wiring below what the amplifier can technically be ran at on a resistive load. And you gotta love music tracks. It's all over the place, and that's how people get away with it. And in competitions, you're playing one frequency. But again, you know, you can run into problems and waste a lot of money by blowing up equipment by maybe wiring a quarter ohm and just getting it hot. Thank you for tuning in, Josh Holden. You gotta look at it, Garrick. You just gotta look at it. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. Jimmy Simpkins Jr., what is up? Appreciate you guys. Eric, and hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in from Canada, sir. Appreciate you. Woohoo! I know he's ready for that store. Tell Jake it's not going to snow. And speaking of which, man, we have gotten a lot of snow. You know what? That was loaded up. There we go. We're good. Oh, come on. Really? Every camera I wanted to show? Oh, whatever. Here we go. I'll just show this camera. Who cares? We got a lot of snow outside, man, and it was snowing all day. And yes, I have been in the studio, but getting ahead on a lot of things, actually. Learning a lot about computers. Man, it is crazy. I'm hooked. Justin, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. And thank you for all the advice that you do. I mean, shoot, you guys had a podcast, literally advice, and what better guy to have here, and what you do on the content form side. Appreciate that you're here with us tonight, man. Jen, thank you for hanging out. We got 30 of you guys. I'm kind of like stalling, waiting until we got like 40 people tuned in, and then we'll get to it. But either way, you know what? We'll see. We'll see. I got to do the housekeeping. You just got to do it. Wait for everyone to get their beverages, their seats, their shoot dogs, whatever have you. Yo, Kicker fam, you the best, Andy. Love you. Thank you so much, Shoop Dog. Appreciate your support, and thank you for tuning in. Kibo, we got a package coming from Kibo. That's all I'm saying. Thank you for hanging out tonight. Simon Staley, thank you for tuning in on Facebook. Appreciate you, buddy. Hope you've been well. 1985 King, hello, everyone. Appreciate you guys. Rick Honeycutt, I'm here, baby. Let's kick it off, man. I'm ready, you know, because tonight's topic, I was like, man, I need to do something other than just amp dynos or bring guests on, which we do have them lined up. I'm waiting to get Sparked Innovations on, but we're probably going to have Adam from SPL Lab on here before that. But I was like, you know what? I want to do something fun. We do this stuff kind of like Friday, but a little bit more geared to just learning things and hearing your guys' stories. So if you guys got any horror stories, let me know. Good stories, vice versa. Let's get to it. All right, so the first one up here, let me pull this up on the capture card. I hooked up a whole nother display just so I can see this and read this at the same time. Jason C, that amp looks cool, but wait. You should buy it. So just buying an amplifier by looks alone. I mean, you can run into the same problem with cars too, you know, especially nowadays. They all look nice. Like, it's hard to tell a jalopy or a lemon from a good car because they're all white, they're all SUVs, and they all have the same shape. And it depends, you know, what the plastic's made out of, what the engineers behind it. So you can't just go by buying something just by looking at it. Even though we preach looking at it all the time, it's not the only thing that you can do. Thank you for tuning in, Matt G. Sup, Andy? What's up, chat? Appreciate ya. All right, let's see the next one. Sean Lynn. We got Sean Lynn here, probably being told that you just got to look at it. You know, I mean, you do got to look at it. And you're not wrong, but you're not right, because we do have to do more than just look at it, or just look at the numbers, look at the whatever have you, or just look at the price. You can't just look at it, even though we love to look at it. Matt E. Well, we're going to hold up on Matt E. We just got a $2 super chat from Garrick. Thank you for the penny, sir. We got to roll it.
I got pennies.
It's working. The pennies are flowing. Thank you, Garrick. Hopefully my payment goes to you. Appreciate you, Garrick. And I'm glad we got the merchandise situation figured out on your end. I'm like, freaking out. I'm like, you're telling me you can't order a Living Loud with Andy t-shirt? Hold on, hold my tea. We'll get it going. And glad that is on your way, sir. Thank you for supporting and always being here. Love you, buddy. All right, cool. We got Mac here. What is up? How you doing? What's up, buddy? Let's see. Kyle says, if it's newer than 2013, the vehicle has too many electronics. I know, you know, I'm watching a Netflix show about all older vehicles, and they don't have chips so that they could still run. I'm like, yeah, that's the best thing about them. Less problems, too. Oh, Dan Current, you know, I love that comment of yours. I don't know if I have it here. There was a few I had to pull, but wasted information. That kind of was, but it kind of wasn't. And we will get to there. Worst advice: run CCA, run Teraamps, and Junkyard Lithium is great for car audio. You know, and there I have a few here CCA, but you might as well bring out the elephant in the room. And the one comment kind of was like, you know, saying that CCA isn't as good as OFC, and that OFC is king, and that's what everybody says, and they just want to take your money. And it's like, if you just look at the physical properties of just how electrons are transferred and, through metal. Copper is better than aluminum. Copper clad aluminum, whatever you want to call CCA, And does the price outweigh it? Even if you run more CCA runs, it still might be cheaper, but then you have to run additional runs, and it's just more connections, and more connections can run into more resistance and more voltage drop, and it can be a bunch of different factors, and everyone's build may vary. But at the end of the day, I would rather just run copper, honestly. 1,000,000%. Don't cheap out on that. Thank you, Kicker Car. Every Kicking It with Andy, this guy drops a $50 gifted membership, and I appreciate you so much, man.
Bass hitting hard. Yeah, yeah. Turn down for what? Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Would you look at that? And I forgot to roll this because Restream Bot's taking over the chat here. Thank you, Restream Bot, but thank you, Kicker Car, for gifting those memberships. Thank you so much for all the support over the past few shows here, man, and just repping the Kicker name. I mean, that's at least anybody could do, right? They make good stuff. It lasts. It's quality, and appreciate you so much, dude. Appreciate you. Now that Kicker's going to be kicking for 25 minutes nonstop. That is insane. Thank you so much. Again, guys, do not forget to enter the link. I'm going to drop it down below just so it's in the chat again. I do have it pinned, but that one, it's kind of being weird. Either way, let's drop the unmasked link into the chat for Facebook, YouTube, everywhere else. Share it to a friend. Maybe they'll win and split the winnings with you. Enter the giveaway, kicker.com/umweekly. Appreciate you guys so much. Moving on here. All right, let me pull up this. Okay, we got the chat back. One-man band here, but we have fun. Thank you for tuning in, Dolby. Straight clipping. We got Kyle up in here as well. Would you look at that? Worst advice, build a Nissan Armada as a base build. Dan Current. Dan Current's build reminds me, it's not a wasted information build. Sorry, Dan, love you. But it reminds me of something that I want to build that's on just a bigger scale, where it sounds good. You can hear kind of everything. Yes, it's a 160 dB build, so, within reason. It's not an SQ build by any means to the SQ guys, but to, the bass edge, you can hear the music. It sounds good. It plays high and plays low, and, not every vehicle's perfect for just bass, but we make do with what we got, and appreciate you, Kyle, for tuning in, and, man, wasted information. How many windshields? 7, 8? We're losing count. We're going to have to start making X's for every 10 they go, Appreciate you guys both. Let's see. So close to 10K, 9,497 subscribers. Would you look at that? We're almost there. And we got 44 viewers and only 24 likes. Come on, guys. Hit the like. You know the deal. Come on. All right. The Bronco is so sweet. The Kicker Bronco is amazing. And, hopefully Slamology works out good, but I know the Kicker Bronco build just kind of goes different places to different bigger shows. And, man, if you can hear that thing ever in your life, go listen to it. You got to do more than just look at it. You got to listen to it. Bew, thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Hope you've been well, man. Josh Holden says, I got a membership. Oh, yeah, I'm back, baby. Got gifted from Kicker Club. Kicker Car. Kicker Club. It rolls off the tongue. It's terrible. That's awesome, Josh Holden. Glad you're here, man. I want a Kicker shirt. Kicker.com/ I don't know if it's merch, but it's on the merch section there. And I haven't double checked because every time I go to kicker.com and I go on there, I wind up buying something and it's bad. So I try to stay away from as much as I can, but I've not seen the merch stuff on there recently that has been available. Last week we were having issues with that. I know Sandy's on that. Might be up, might not. I would double check, make sure stuff is in availability. All right, Andy, slow down. You're going to lose your voice. Straight Clippin' has been a member for 1 month. Would you look at that? Would you just look at it? All right, Dubby for the win. Kick the like. You just gotta kick it. Kick it, kick it, kick it. The Kicker Bronco, yes, the Kicker Bronco with 9L7X12, man. Cookie Monster is going to be tired after this. He's going to be really tired. All right, so I'm going to pull up the next little thing here, and if you guys got any other things, we're going to throw them up as well, because I'm just sitting here reading the chat. Excuse me. Matt E., you don't need a bass knob. You know, I feel like majority people might not ever need a bass knob and they won't know it's missing. But the people that ever get a bass knob and run that and install that in their car, it's really hard to go back, because then you're like, man, instead of going through my settings and lowering to sub level, I could just twist a knob and, you know, the levels go down. And again, you got to still dial it in with the bass knob all the way up when you're setting your gain. Otherwise, if it's not set correctly, that's another prone area of failure of your system, because then you're going to be clipping if that bass knob isn't fully maxed out when you have your gain set, or you're not giving yourself additional headroom, even if you're not worried about clipping too much, setting that bass knob at maybe 3/4 volume. So for other songs that you might need a little bit more bass, know where you have it set at, but you can give yourself additional headroom. Now, again, that all depends with how you have the gain set too. 0 dB full scale, -10, all that stuff's at kicker.com. Lots of stuff to learn about. Bobby B, no package yet. You know what? I don't know if that's coming, man. Bobby B is Fort Knox on the mailing system. The mailman will not walk on his yard. They will not walk on his yard. All right, Matt E is a bass knob. I'd say so. All right. JD, use particle board. It's all the same, you know, and man, Jake would get interested on this topic right here. You know, not all wood is alike. And, you know, a lot of cheaper prefab enclosures are made out of particle board. MDF is kind of borderline, but it's not particle board. It's a little bit thicker, and it's just, you know, people make enclosures out of desk drawers, cabinets, and stuff. Like we've seen it, and you know, it comes down to the enclosure to make the sound. So you need kind of everything to work perfectly. You really do. It all starts with the enclosure, man. Obviously the sub, but also the enclosure. Steve P, you'll be louder if you turn your gain higher. It ain't even halfway. And man, this one, if you just would have it only more, my gain's only 3/4 the way up, or my gain's half the way up. I got more, and man, this one, I know a lot of you guys watching, it's self-explanatory, but at the same time, it's not. Where let me pull this off here. All right, so, oh, come on, man, come on. How do we? There we go. Okay, cool. So you might be louder at a lower volume, and, you know, turn it up louder, and it's just not going to get louder. That's kind of what's going to happen whenever you don't have your gain. You know, it's only halfway, and you think you got more kind of concept, you know, or it's just, you're kind of just setting it, you know, at a certain whatever. It looks good, and that's it. And I've seen it so many different angles of just setting the gain correctly, or just by ear, just putting it all the way up. It's not a volume knob. All it is matching the pre-out source level and whatever volume on the radio that you have it set at. That's it. Anything more, the amplifier will not make any more power, or you're limiting yourself to whatever the amplifier can do. You know, and then whenever you have that gain set higher, it becomes more sensitive of whatever the input is, so that it will work with a radio that has a lower voltage. So it can get a little mushy sounding if it's not set correctly, for sure. You know, if you have that gain all the way up and the radio and the volume is only like, you know, 10%, we'll say, that's when things just sound kind of washy, or it's just hitting like when bass really shouldn't be hitting all the time, because it's super sensitive on that gain knob. So you got to think of all this stuff. Let me pull these down for just a second. Check these guys. Get a capacitor, bro. It'll help your voltage. And that is a 101. When I got into car audio, I went to Best Buy. They slapped a capacitor on and said, there you go. You're good. Your voltage is fixed. Flex tape for the win. Capacitors, no more problems, right? And capacitors have their place. And I made just a specific video and a short, it's actually kind of trending on YouTube right now, which is good, of just that, of, you know, just capacitors and what they do. And they just don't have much storage, but they can discharge a ton of power. And is that what you need all the time? No. But you need to have storage and have discharge. And now with lithium batteries in the mix and how powerful they are, it's almost not needed to have capacitors, other than, what do you put under your hood? A, capacitor. B, lithium. C, AGM. D, lead acid. Which one do you think is the best one? A lot of people are going to say lead acid, AGM. Okay, yeah, even AGM's not that great. Lead acid, sure. I mean, everybody does it. Lithium, hit or miss. And even then. But capacitors are not a battery. And you can get them really hot. They survive. Matthew Davis, thank you for the $2 super chat and the penny, sir. Appreciate ya.
I got pennies.
More power handling equals better. And, you know, that's the name of the game. It's like the race to nothing of just more power handling. That's what we need to make our drivers do. Bigger numbers on the box means better. And depending the situation, but in most cases, to your everyday consumer, the guy that has two 12s, a single 12, a 15 in their car, something normal, right? Not 4 15s, 6 18s in the back of their car. It's not normal, but we do it, right? Those are the type of people that don't want a big woofer that can handle 4,000 watts, and they need to power at 4,000 watts to do what a single 12 that is rated at 2,000 watts with a 2,000 watt amp and move the same amount of air in the vehicle. And of course, there's so many variables that come into play with that, of, you know, the resonant frequency, the amount of excursion it has, and all these other variables. But to kind of keep it simple, you know, most people want something that'll do more with less. And that's where the number thing is just misconstrued, and we all fall for it. You know, if I didn't know as much as I do with car audio, getting into computers, oh my God, they set you up for failure with these numbers. And it's like, man, there's more ratings out there that are like peak watts on computers than car audio. And I don't know what to look for, but I know not to look at that. And yes, you need to find good information out there, man, because there's a lot that will lead you astray. Appreciate you, Matt Davis, for the super chat, the pennies. Appreciate you, sir. Optima red top, you know, and the red top, yellow top, regardless if they make them as good as they used to, or maybe it's a nostalgia factor. Who knows what the deal is with the Optima batteries, but I would see them in car audio. The red was the high discharge. The yellow was the reserve series in that category of Optima AGMs, and they did their purpose, you know, and I ran AGMs for a long time in my car. Now I'm lithium. I won't go back. LTO for the win. There's other stuff out there that might work better for you, but I like LTO. Thank you so much, Bew. It's sad when guys have to redo their systems every year. If you would just have done it right the first time. And you know what, man? It's, to me, I see a lot of people doing that. And maybe on a competitor side, sure. You know, yeah, you're ripping that out. You want to do better than next year. That's the goal. And I feel like that's the same kind of concept with guys pulling their stuff in and out, right? How much louder is it really going to get, you know? But tell bass head that. They're going to be like, oh, I can gain 0.5 dBs if I just do this. Hold my T. So there is that. But then at the same time, it's like, you know, there's me with Cookie Monster. I'm like, I mean, for that build, I'm good. I'm content. Yes, new 18. Yes, recones available. Yes. Please send 20. Not that I'll need them, but still, just in case. But regardless, yeah, that whole factor, it makes sense. And sometimes it's like, man, can't you just be happy with what you got? Bryson Fields, big three. And, you know, the big three, there is a comment on here on this list. And if I re-talk about them, whatever. The big three is beneficial. And it was one of the first things that I did after adding a battery in the back of my car. Of course, I put a lead acid in the back, you know, being a big dummy. But it worked. Don't do it. But, you know, just because they can evaporate stuff. But the big three is your charging wire from your alternator to your front battery. and then your ground from your front battery to the chassis of the car, and then your big power run going from the front battery to the amplifier in the back of your car and or batteries back there. Big 4 is really what you kind of need, is a ground going from your alternator bracket to the chassis of the car, especially probably more important for like, you know, full body frames rather than unibody, but you never know what kind of grounds they got connecting to everything. You might as well use something that you know will carry the current, aka big 0 gauge OFC. And you can do even more by grounding the charge wire ground from the big 5. You could do a bunch of stuff, but I feel like it doesn't even make sense to the point of that charge wire going from the alternator to the front battery. And only that one doesn't make sense unless you have a high output alternator. Now, okay, if you do it, is it bad? No, it's not going to ever hurt you, but it might not even be necessary at that state of the game, just because the alternator can only output so much power anyway. So there is that. And yes, so big 3, yes, it's important, but you got to go into it knowing everything too. Thank you again, Matt Davis, Kicker Car, appreciate you, all you guys. The Unfortunate Stewart, sorry for your loss. Particle Board got me through high school. I mean, if it bangs, right? You know, and you see some boxes that are cut in half, you know, and just like one speaker there, or they're just putting in like different size speakers into the same enclosure. Like it was like for 210s, they put 212s in there. That's a no-no, you know, and sometimes you don't even have somebody tell you that. You just do it. You're like, well, if I just cut the hole out bigger, it'll work. Or if I'll just cut a hole out on the side of the box, it'll make it ported, right? I did that with the Kicker L7. Whenever I had that in there, I took out the I took out the terminal cup and it had, you know, just a hole there. And I'm like, this sounds terrible. No, I'm putting that back. And there's a lot of variables with car audio, and you gotta love it. Kicker needs a Hummer show car. Maybe it could be mine. They actually do. They actually do, Luca. There is a Hummer EV in Kicker Stillwater, and I think it's Steve's. So, what they're gonna do with that? Not 1,000,000% sure. All right, WWW, get a capacitor. Okay, we got that. Bryson, Bobby B, yelling at CAE. Optima battery, got it. 52 you guys in here, 34 likes. Smash the like, subscribe, you know the deal. Enter the giveaway, kicker.com/umweekly. You know what? I forgot to put that anywhere on the screen here. Hold on. I've been having guests on here. I don't even have it set up. Kicker.com/umweekly. I'm slacking. Cody, I had someone tell me to put a capacitor in my car instead of Yinlong. You know, and it's... Okay. The capacitors are fine. But, again, it's like... Think of it as having, like, a really powerful Yinlong setup in your car, right? We'll just say this Yinlong setup is the equivalence of, I don't know, a 200 amp bank instead of just like a single bank. So 5 times the amount of capacity, right? Or 5 times the amount of discharge. But then give yourself 2 amp hours of capacity. So you have all that discharge capability of that 200 amp hour Yinlong bank, but you only get 2 amp hours of capacity. And that's in a sense what that single capacitor is doing. And it has that amount of discharge capability, but it's just a very small tank. So you gotta watch. It might not, it will do something until it doesn't. Thank you for tuning in, Cody. I hope you've been good, man. X-Size sub is for X-Size type of music, and that was one on my cheat sheet list that I have here, is literally that. Certain subwoofers only play certain frequencies, and, you know, 18s and 20s and 34-inch woofers are good for lows below 30 hertz. A lot of wasted information, right? And then the 15s and whatever, low end, 12s are like, they'll do kind of like in the middle, 10s are punchier, and 8s are even punchier, but, you know, less low end. And the misconception that comes from that is literally the resonant frequency of the driver, one. So yes, it might have an easier time with all things sort of being equal, which we know they never are. Will play a little bit lower, easier. But that's not the end That's not the end all be all. It's not. There's a lot more variables in how they design it, how the woofer is just put together, what it's supposed to do, and you can get kind of almost every result within reason. Farther you go away, smaller subs, they're going to have a harder time digging down. They're going to have a harder time building a woofer that has a ton of excursion for a little 6-inch. Now, nowadays, that's becoming a thing, okay? But back in, 10 years ago, no way, man. It's really hard. We'll just stick with the 12s. And there's a lot to that. There really is. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate you, man. Unless you like testing other brands out, I enjoy rebuilding to keep mine interested and to test other things out. Right, Kyle? And you do have to learn things. Otherwise, if you just keep the same build forever, you're never going to learn anything new by trying other things. Very good point. I know I didn't use Sound Deadener. I'm regretting it now. I guess you can count Shag as sound dampener. And, yeah, but otherwise, I feel like not every case. Some vehicles are just built better that don't need as much sound dampening, or if any, and depending how loud you are too. Frequency, if you're playing down to the 30s, and that's like your roll out area, 30, 25, 20s, any amount of sound dampening is not going to be very beneficial. You might get rid of a little bit of, slap, but, not really, you're still going to hear metal flapping pretty good. All right, let's see here. Big 5, that's it. That's it. Ashy made it. Ashy, thank you for tuning in. What's up, Kyle? The ohms thing, ohmomatic.
0 ohm.
And wiring, different woofers. I like Chris. He's awesome. I love Chris, actually. And, but that 0 ohm thing, no power. You'd have to have 0.000000001 ohm, but what amplifier are you going to put that on? I mean, technically it would work until you hit a certain amount of, current in the amplifier. I didn't tell you that. But still, it is fun to learn that stuff. Matthew Davis with another $2 super chat. They're noticing I'm so far behind on the comments, but I appreciate you guys for the pennies.
I got pennies.
Sealed box is for rock. And that's another one too. Yes, punchier music for a sealed box and louder for ported. And I feel like it's just like those general rules of thumb cloud the vision of what that really means of, yeah. And you're kind of right when you say that, but not every enclosure. You can have a ported enclosure that's tight, super tight and accurate. Maybe not as... We're getting into sound quality with port delay, but in general speaking, yes, you can get a ported box to be as tight and accurate as a sealed to a point, and then the sealed, almost as loud as a ported box, but then you're going to be giving up probably the benefits of having each one to make one emulate what the other one can do better. If you get what I'm saying, you're always going to have that trade-off. So yes, sealed boxes can be for tighter bass. It's just a little bit easier to get there. And depending the woofer you put in, you put a different woofer in a sealed box, it's going to change everything. You put a different woofer in a ported box, it's either going to do better or worse than the other one just because of how it's working with that enclosure, not the enclosure telling the woofer what to do. It's pretty much what a sealed enclosure does to a woofer. Ported enclosure, the port tells the speaker kind of what to do. In general speaking here. Appreciate all you guys tuning in. Andrew, Ashy, thank you for tuning in. CM Enclosures, appreciate you. Green Reaper, oh man, the days of particle board. Oh man. I mean, if it works, it works. This poor kicker, what voltage? We're at 12.5 volts, but the power supply is saying 13.2, so that's why you want to have more voltage areas, just so you know where you're at. But either way, the kicker is kicking. Back me up here, CM. Balsa wood is the best for enclosures, especially anything over 10 watts RMS rated. Baltic birch, balsa wood, I don't know. I mean, you can get into it of each type of wood, which is better, which resonates. That's not my cup of tea, but I'd love to hear. let me see. Okay. Deontay Laws. Are the current 12-inch L7 solo barracks 750 or 900 RMS? Well, the 12-inch L7, 750 RMS. It's the QL7 that is 900 RMS. So that's the one that was floating around. Will they be bringing something back? Probably. But that's the one, it's 900. The L7S or the original L7, 750. The L7R or the L5, 600. So those are the numbers. I kind of can't forget them, but appreciate you, Deontay. All right, I'm going to try to scroll up on some of these comments here. You guys are awesome, man. Fuego. Wait, El Fuego is here. El Fuego! Worst advice ever. Buy your first system at the swap meet. Good gear, cheap. Wait, worst advice I have, buy your first system at a swap meet. You know, and that's the problem with buying anything used. You're taking a chance. And sometimes it pays off, and that's when it's worth it. And other times, somebody's selling it for a reason, and they're not going to tell you, and that's the unfortunate truth. But, you know, you live and you learn, and we get through these things. But, yes, used, oh, man. And it sucks, too, when it's somebody that's in the hobby, and they know that their product isn't really up to the, you know, what it's supposed to be. Standards. You know, standards is standard, you know. Just can't win a playoff game. But you get what I'm saying. That's unfortunate, El Fuego, but we all have our first system story. And, man, Target. Target and Walmart. Let's go. Thank you for tuning in, El Fuego. I'm pronouncing it right. You just can't hear me. Double E, thank you for tuning in. Got your stuff heading out to you, man. I'm so glad. Just getting you the kicker prize. Third place, but still, kicker doesn't ship overseas. I'm like, gotcha, Electro. Gotcha, buddy. Appreciate you tuning in. Troy, thank you for sharing. Thank you for tuning in. You need 2-inch thick balsa wood, and you have to fiberglass it all. Right, and that's another thing, too, like bracing. Double baffling. How important are they? And everyone's like, you always got to double baffle. Depending. And it's not going to hurt you, but it's just like, you know, putting a big 3 or upgrading the charge wire when you have a stock alternator. Like, is the money invested even worth it? Eventually, if you plan on doing it in the car, of upgrading the alternator, sure. Putting a bigger woofer in there, sure. You know, or just whatever. And you shouldn't even do that with an enclosure. You build the enclosure for that woofer. Period. Because if you go and build an enclosure for a smaller woofer, throw in something else, everything's off. You know, it's not what that subwoofer wants. Now, if it's a kicker sub and you're going from a Comp C to a, you know, VR or an R, it's not too terrible, but again, it's still not exactly what that's looking for. It might need more port area or, you know, all that fun stuff, man. It's kind of fun doing this. That's why I love doing this show. Love doing the Friday show as well. And just being in the position that I am, like all these screens and computers are awesome. But, you know, to be able to help people, that is the most awesome thing and walk them through it. But, yeah, I mean, sometimes you might not even have to double baffle and you might just need good bracing and proper bracing placements. Thank you, Troy. How you feel about MBE? His boxes hit, though. His actually just got kicker build of the week. So there you go. I mean, beautiful enclosure designer, MBE. Fact, not fiction, Jimmy. All right, cool. I'm going to pull up more of these, and I think we got to go here. Capture card. Excuse me. Jeffrey T. Eliminate the fuse. Run my L7s at 1 ohm on an 08ZX 1500. That's 2 ohm stable. You know, and eliminating the fuse, there's another one in here too, which is eliminating the fuse to reduce voltage drop. I mean, yes, but don't do that. A fuse is your friend, okay? You just got to put the proper size fuse, make sure the connections are there, and that's your first line of defense. Your second line of defense is yelling at Jake for doing something wrong. You know, he's our punching bag.
I got pennies.
I use 1/16 MDF for all kicker enclosures. I mean, as long as your bracing's right, the dado sets or cuts are all there, and Jake just spits on it with some glue, and then, yes, it's staying together. It's good to go. Thank you so much for the pennies, Jake. Appreciate you, sir. Appreciate you. All right, I'm going to keep kicker cars up here. We're going to get to the next one here, but real quick, you know, that whole wiring stuff below what it's supposed to be, if you're not new, or if you're new to car audio and you've never done it before, you probably shouldn't try it. Let someone else show you how they do it on theirs first, and then they'll walk you through it. Even then, it might not even be right for you. There's a reason why manufacturers put a number on an amplifier. Moving on. Juan Mendoza, thank you so much, man. Another guy in Kicker Club, just literally, he's kicking it every day. Posting, sharing, everything. Thank you so much for all that you do. Don't buy that. You're just paying for a name. And, man, you know, yeah. Sometimes you are, and other times you are paying for the quality, and it depends the brand that you're buying it off of. And usually you can tell by learning about something, and then you're like, okay, that's baloney. Why is that so expensive? Okay, that makes sense. They're known for this and they're making this, but why? That doesn't make, you know, you got to draw your own conclusions with this stuff. And that's what's so great about the internet, man. Thank you, Juan Mendoza. Louis A., wire everything down to half ohm. I mean, yes, no. We've been there. We talked about it, but don't do it. Don't do it. Maybe on the Discord, I'll tell you to do it sometimes, but don't, you know, just because, you know, what happens is, you know, if you don't have enough of the box rise, you know, impedance curve, how the amplifier works with the subwoofer and the enclosure and the electrical impedance and all that fun stuff. If you don't have enough resistance, the amplifier, if not built correctly and built strong enough, it will fail. It will fail, and you're going to be out of money. And you're going to go to the manufacturer, they're going to be like, wow, yeah, the output rails, this did this did this. Yeah, this guy ran it way too low. And yeah, you're out of money. And you don't want that, because I don't know about you, it's hard to get money for toys. These are toys. Car audio stuff, yes, it's a pleasure, you know? So it's hard to make money aside for it. It's not your gas bill and electric bill. I mean, maybe you could freeze in your house, but, you know, I don't know. I'd rather freeze in my house and not be baseless than, you know, vice versa. But normal people. All right. Oh, Bobby B. Troy's still up in here. The Chargers, talking about the Chargers. I can't. Troy's like, man, it makes me smile when I see your show, man. I feel like I know someone famous. Heck, I play fantasy football with Andy on top of that. Hey, love you, Troy. Known this guy for years. Found him on Facebook. I just want to bang you. Gotta love it. And he is still here today, man. And yes, the Living Loud with Andy Fantasy Football League. It was awesome. And I beat Kayla and Cornut, and that's all that matters. But John K wins, and he has to make his own Lombardi trophy. I'm just going to send him money, too, so he can get that going. But congratulations to everyone that didn't win. And, John, we're going to get you next year. Thank you, Troy. Appreciate ya. Where's Kip with the inside info on my Solo X enclosure? It's coming. It is coming. Thank you, Fago, for tuning in. All right, cool. I'm trying to fly up on these comments. Come on, Solo X18. It's coming, dude. It is coming. I don't know if it was you or somebody posted on Facebook saying about the Solo X8. Solo X19. Did I say Solo X8? Solo X19. That will never happen. That was a April Fool's joke, and I reshared it for all the kicker builds of the week, and people think it's a thing again because it's not April 1st. No, there is no Solo X8. Solo X19. Ah, man, usually it's the L7X or the LX. Goodness gracious. Thank you, Jabby. $2. He's throwing some pennies out there.
I got pennies.
Peel the wires for maximum power output. Peel the wires. You know, man, power wire is such a controversial just topic of what should I use? CCA, 0 gauge, 4 gauge, 8 gauge. What can I get away with? What is enough? What is overkill? And with electrical, you know, if money is not a huge problem, because you want to invest in something, right? And the electrical is your foundation. Nothing will turn on, okay? Things will stop working if that is not right. And with the power wire, it's the heart, you know? It's like your valves of like your blood. It's like your bloodstream, okay? And the alternator is the heart, and I don't know, the batteries are the pancreas. No, I don't know. You get what I'm saying, though. It's very, very important. And, you know, you don't want to cheap out on it, but it depends on how long the run is on each connection point that is going to be having any type of load between it, and how much of resistance is in that wire. If there's no resistance, no power, like how we talked about. Zero ohms. If you have 0 ohms, there's no connection. So there's always a resistance in a connection that has a load. Otherwise, electrons will not travel, and you won't have power. No more current, okay? So there is resistance always in power wire. It's just how much of it. And then you need more voltage to be able to carry more current at the same or at different resistances. If you get what I'm saying. At higher resistance, you're going to need more voltage to do the same amount of current. And it's just kind of like all over. Like, what are you trying to do? You know, are you trying to stay above 14 volts? Do you mind a little bit of voltage drop? You know, or do you want it perfect? And that's why power wire is such a topic of, you know, what could I get? You know, and honestly, I find myself using 8 gauge and 4 gauge in situations where people were like, I need 0 gauge. And I'm like, but why though? I'm going a foot. It's like 100 amps. You know, 8 gauge is a little bit under, but it's a foot. And, you know, I don't mind that little bit of voltage drop, and it's not constant. The wire won't be heating up as fast because it's not constant. And that's another thing, just like power handling of a woofer. You know, this stuff, it all goes hand in hand. Physics will physic. Really will. Thank you, Jabby. Appreciate ya. Appreciate all you guys here tonight. All right. Worst advice. All right, he's throwing it out there. All right, Aaron, come on in. We're ready for you. Here's Aaron. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Well, Duffy's like, oh, no. Listen, that comment, wasted information, below 40 hertz. And, you know, that video has went everywhere. Aaron knows it. Kicker knows it. And I'm still sitting there saying why. Like, I get it to a point. Like, okay, yeah, we just don't want to play anything below that. Okay, that part, whatever. But below 40 hertz, you know, how much music that's not rebased has that other than movies and theatrical stuff? I know the DIY home audio guys are gonna be like 10 hertz for the win, thunderbolts and lightning and thunder rolls. I want it all. I want all that stuff. But most music, right? And, you know, there's always going to be that trade-off. If you're going to have something with the ability to play low in the 25s and 30s, to be able to play 50s and 60s rock music and have a do-it-all-in-one enclosure of what consumers are going to want, okay? You don't see the guys with the JBL boomboxes that's tuned to 20 hertz, because if it was, it wouldn't be as loud outside. It's really hard for, you know, low frequencies to get louder in open atmospheres, and I think that's kind of what he was banking on with a lot of things, too, with just how physics is alongside that comment, but still, you know, yeah, maybe it is a little bit of wasted information, but we love it. 60 of you guys are in here tonight. 54 minutes in. Holy moly. I knew tonight was going to be awesome. I'm barely getting through everything on here, but we had so much 30 hertz. It's not even funny. You know, I feel like we're all there, CAE. We are all there. Okay. Excuse me. We got to throw this up because this is Garrick. He said you don't need to run a fuse. Team no fuse, right? Fuses are friends, not fire. Oh, that's it. Fuses are friend, not fire. No fire. You don't want to fire, even though a fuse might not even pop because you don't have it where the problem lied. You might just have a fuse in the front of your car and you don't have one between the batteries, or one between the batteries and the amplifier, and that's where the fault was, and then something else caught on fire. And that's usually what happens, because there's a lot of protective circuitry in amplifiers where they just kind of like, oh, we're done, no more DC power please. And other ones are like, what's happening right now? It's getting hot in here. Holy moly, something's smoking. And they just stay on and they don't shut off certain gates and stuff. And that's why you see those ones on Big D's videos or any amp dyno or even in the lanes, and it's on fire. You won't see that with the kicker amp. I'm sorry. You just won't. You just 1,000,000% won't. They go and protect. And if you have something like that, maybe you hooked it up to your 220, you were bored in the laundry room and you're like, oh, that's how much power my kicker can make now. You know, maybe you might see a little bit of smoke there. Otherwise, you're set. You do need to run a fuse. Brian Y, run speaker wire for your power cable. Yeah, undersizing wire, I can't stress it enough. Cannot stress it enough. Dak B, make the biggest box that will fit, right? And, you know, when you're talking with just normal enclosures and stuff, you can always build bigger. You can't build smaller. So there is that, but trial and error too. But you don't want to take up the entire enclosure of just box and woofer and just like, oh yeah, now it has nowhere to breathe in the back of my car and the sub's firing into the back. The air can't travel around it, because that's a thing too that you have to take into account, is that bass is just a big cushion of air going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and hitting your head, okay? And that can't get around your enclosure, and to you, it's not going to be as loud as it could be with all things considered. Joe Keenan, set your Subsonic to 40 hertz. And if you do that, I mean, I feel like you're really just cutting yourself off before things start getting good. With certain enclosures, you might need to. You know, you can set it at like, maybe if you're tuned to 45, set it to 40 or something like that. You know, if you're tuned really, really high, just so that you don't play way low below what that driver can do. All it's doing is literally setting a high pass or low pass crossover, high pass crossover on the low end, just so that, you know, you're good to go. You won't play those low end frequencies as loud, so that your woofer stop doesn't move too far. And SDK coming in here with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you, sir.
Would you look at that? Oh my gosh, just look at it. Just look at it. You got to look at it this way, okay? You just got to look at it. That's all you can do anymore.
A $350 amp fuse will, 350 amp fuse will never blow, in my opinion. It will get hot, melt, and create a hot ground situation. Anything over 250 amp, I'll go no fuse every time, indifferent. Right, and you get to those like arc welding problems, and if your battery can even discharge that amount of current, even on a dead short, is it more than at 400 amps, you know, or the amplifiers? I feel like it's like you would have to have all things, you know, kind of like narrowed together, right? I just do one under the hood, 350, because the 250s were melting with a 320 amp alternator, and it's like I really don't even need it there, you know, just because. But in the back of the car, I do want to add some just to the amplifier, even though, you know, just to be on the safe side, but then also think about all these extra connections that I'm adding. But they're also just safety gates. If you know what you're doing, sure, but if you don't mind, you know, maybe, oh, well, we'll keep an eye on that. Sure, no fuse. That's fine. That's fine. Normal people, no way. You know, if something's going to go bad, it's going to go bad quick. Thank you, Mr. SDK. Appreciate you, sir. $5 super chat, making us look at it. All right, cool. Jimmy said, no fuse. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's... Fuses are there for protection of the amount of current it's going to go through the wire, so that the wire itself doesn't just start melting because of too much current going through it. Because if you didn't have a fuse there and you will say 4 gauge and it's rated for 100 amps, right? 80 to 100 amps over like 20 feet, give or take. And you start dumping 200 amps through that. Guess what? That, if you have enough load coming through that wire of like demand, it will still give you all the current that you're asking at a lower voltage, but it will still keep doing that, and it's going to start to melt the outside of the wire instead of your fuse popping at 100 amps. Really like 125, 130, then it'll pop. And that's the thing with fuses, are not all created equally, and some are, you know, they'll go instantly as soon as they hit that, or some that are more of a slow blow and really designed how a fuse is supposed to be, right around that. It's to keep your wire safe, more so than just the electronics, but it's going to keep the electronics safe in the end run too. Just so that you're not maybe dropping down voltage or something like that. Jake just puts a rifle round in between his 2 metal contacts and face toward the driver's seat. That's how confident he is in his builds. And you know what? Man, if you're that confident, sure. But there's always that chance. And life gets freaky sometimes. Jake will go out with a bang. Highlights, goals, highlights. Cone area is flat. 2D area, the shape is not important for cone area. Right, bore and stroke. Kip Litsy's favorite quote, a bore and stroke. Think of an engine. And, you know, you have a certain amount of 2D space, your cone area, right? But then how much travel does that have? And when a woofer is moving, you know, like how I got that thing on the outside, it's called the surround. Well, that kind of changes, right? And when that changes, your cone area is changing, bigger and smaller, the effective cone area. It's not just the middle of it, because it depends on the surround, how it's designed. Maybe you're going past what it can handle, linear or whatever. I was like, what happened to my music? Got really quiet. I'm going to have to fix that. I keep thinking something stops working. But that changes, so how much volume are you moving? How much air are you moving in that enclosure with that woofer? And then it all depends with other things, what you're trying to do, efficiency, and how it sounds. I don't know. Thank you. Appreciate you, sir. Fuse every time. Yes, yes, yes. And there's a few really nice videos showing the maximum ground capability through frame rails, etc. The highest was 150 amps full length ground. Okay, so few nice videos showing maximum ground capability through frame rails. Okay, so like not a unibody. So, and the highest was 150 amps full length ground. Okay, so that's why, you know, whenever you get to a certain point of car audio, you kind of want to just have dedicated grounds, because you're making a complete circuit of your system. And it starts with your alternator. It goes all the way back to your amplifier, and it doesn't stop there. And it doesn't stop at the ground by your alternator either. It goes back up to the alternator where it started. And that's the thing where, you know, he's talking about, you know, videos of testing that. And I kind of thought about that too. I'm like, what about all the welding connections and how thick the metal is? But it is a really big piece of metal. I mean, it's your car, right? But how conductive is it? How much resistance is in there? And is it better to run a dedicated ground wire? Every answer is not going to be yes or no. Depends the car. But it's, if you add it, it's not going to hurt you. So a dedicated ground run with your parallel run of your positive, it's a no-brainer. It really isn't. Ed and I were discussing it, and he showed me it was pretty gnarly to see. You know, that's the kind of stuff I love to see. And Sparked Innovations, man, you guys have been killing it. Thank you for tuning in, Andy. The Andy Inception, Andy squared tonight. Andy to Andy, I'm tripping. Yeah, hey, it's okay if you talk to yourself, you just don't answer yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. But, you know, what were you saying? Nothing. That's what I'm saying. Shut up. All right, God. Guy, oh, it never shuts up in my head. All right, cool. Let me see. A few more, and then we're going to do the giveaway. DAC B, make the biggest box that will fit. We did that. Someone comes to you and wants more subs than will fit in required space. Jake knows all about that. And yes, you know, just because you want something doesn't mean it's going to work for you. So you have to plan accordingly to look at the airspace volume per woofer and the power. You got to think that too, man. If I'm trying to crunch all these woofers in here, I'm going to give up something, but can I fix it with power to a point? And then there goes your efficiency. Hoffman's Iron Law. Kevin M., port to 35, tune to 35. It's not a number that's like 32 hertz for the win, 34, 35 hertz, whatever. Tune. I want to be tuned to 12 hertz. Doesn't mean you're going to play there. It all depends with the vehicle, the cabin and residence, the woofer, the enclosure, its boundary loading, every single factor. And that's the fun part about it, man. But safe spot, sure, 34, 35, 32, you know, I don't know, normal stuff here. All right, I lost that, but that's good enough. Let me pull this down here. Yeah, we're all set up with this stuff. I'm like, you know, why didn't I do this earlier? Let me do the giveaway, get the Rigomatic 3000 fired up. She's an old girl. She just keeps on kicking. Turn up background music a little bit because I'm talking less. Yes, sir. Oh, my. Holy moly. That is a list. Yes. Oof. You know, we got TDH coming up. I should be going to that. Slamology, long as that lines up with everything, stars align. Grab jump to Slamology, be great. You know, those are the two main ones that I go to every year. I'm trying to get Team SP Loud going again, but one step at a time. There's an amp line I can see running without fuses. It's Orion HCCA amplifiers. You know, I'm trying to think of why you're making a statement. I know Orion's got some pretty cool stuff. I know they got like, what was it? High current. I mean, that's like old school stuff, but like high current amplifiers. And, you know, just all that entails. And how those would stack up today. I don't know. You know, I feel like it's anything. Like it's like saying I don't need a circuit breaker in my house, man. I know I can only run 18 amps or 15 amps and, you know, 18 amps, whatever, 20 amps, whatever your breaker really is. And how good is that wiring in your house? You know, you don't know. And it's like, yeah. Well, my wife just hooked up 2 hair blowers at the same time, and now my wall is on fire. Yeah, you don't need one, but you should have one. I love her. She's blue. All right, we got that. Okay. Yeah. Nice. You lost bid for explodes. Oh no. Oh no. I need to pull the subs tomorrow. Man, pulling subwoofers in and out of a vehicle is never fun. I know loading the new 18 whenever that comes is going to be a chore in Cookie Monster, but it'll be worth it. Cool. And excuse me. Todd Wolf, thank you for tuning in. Yes, Team SP Loud. God, do I miss those days by your house on the dead end road. Yeah, that was fun. And I need to contact him. That's my plan B. I got a plan A, but I'd rather go with plan B, if that makes sense. Duh. That place was amazing, and you got to enter. I'm already pulling the names for it. You got to enter kicker.com/umweekly. It's pinned in here in the YouTube chat, Facebook, and I should put it in the description, but a lot of you guys already know. Kicker.com/umweekly. It stands for Unmasked Weekly, and I do the show every other Tuesday since, man, 2 years. Isn't that crazy? 2 years I've been doing Kicking It with Andy, and man, it's it's insane. I'm going through like old photos, videos. Like January 23, I was doing Kicking with Andy. 2 years, man, that is insane. But either way, man, it's a blast. It makes sense. We're on episode 53 every other week, so we're here 53, 54. Either way, yeah, it's amazing, man. It's been a journey, and thank you, Kicker, for making this happen. It puts a little extra spice in my live stream, so bottom of my heart, mean it. You have 18 watts RMS combined. That is a shot if I've never seen one before. All right, cool. Got that. We're good. Now let's type some of these in here. We got to look at it.
Let's see if someone put something up. Oh yeah, look at that.
Got to look at it. Man, my voice, that's me. That is me when I was like 13, 14. That is embarrassing, but I love it. And I was definitely looking at it. All right, we don't want that. We need to type in these names so you guys know. We're going to get this one first. Okay. There we go. Sodium is the future with pretty much every kind of battery with a wide voltage operating range, like 2 volts to 4 volts, and 4 in series, so they work for everything, 8 to 16 volts, but you can ship them at 0 volts, and that is super safe. Obviously no power, and doesn't do any cell degradation, so yes. And I know how to say degradation, but I can't say dampening. Dampening, like it's like, which one is it again? You know what I mean. You know the deal. Come on, man. Yeah, it's definitely rigged. Ernie's gonna be calling me in the morning. Who won again? Who won? What? Are you kidding me? We need to do something about that. Okay. Last one. Appreciate you guys holding up. The womb broom. I'm growing a mustache and the wife hates it. You gotta do it. You just gotta use the beard balm. That's the trick. I'm learning. Nice. Got it. Oh, that's spelt wrong. If I don't spell it right, they will be on me. All right, cool. Got that? Done. Read my mind, Andy. I was picturing her complaining about the downstairs. Oh, man. Yep. Yep. I was doing the beard oil. Nah. Beard balm, it helps. Love the little hybrid capacitor JY made, but sold by Down for Sound. So that's the JP2, the JP2K. Right. And yeah, Travis Young. I love the little JY NXTs. Just because they're so small. Yes, they might not be dollar efficient if you're trying to do like a 4,000, 5,000 watt system and stay in 14.4 consistently, but they're very small. And they're like a hybrid ELD capacitor battery, which honestly, with the voltage range, more reflects of a sodium type, but not, because I think there's 6 of them in series in one bank. And that's why you're getting like 2 amp hours out of them, 4 amp hours out of a bank. So, but they're still a hybrid. So what does that exactly mean? Maybe it's with the cathode and the anode of just different chemistries of, that and how fast it can discharge and how fast or how much storage it has. And I feel like that is the bottom line when it comes to batteries. It's rigged more than a kangaroo fighting Mike Tyson. Don't talk about Jake Paul like that. Beer butter better and beer right. Well, if you got a little bit thicker, I'm not at that manly man level yet. Okay, I'm not there yet. Beer butter. Name me some beer butter. Can you tell? Not yet. Super caps are amazing, man. They, yeah, I've seen a build completely out of super capacitors other than an lead acid to start the car. All right. Voice is failing. Johnny, I need help. Can you help me? Or like, no, you're not going to help me? Okay. I figured he could take over the show. Took over the intro there for me, but that's all right. Let's see. What about the random audio stores that love giving out bad advice just to sell products? And that's going to happen everywhere. With car audio, the community is a little bit tighter, so you're going to see a little bit more and get a little bit more triggered. And there's going to be people out there that have no idea. Unfortunately, that is the society we live in, and all you can do is preach your own word, and hopefully someone listens. Otherwise, freedom of speech. All right. But yes, it sucks. All right, so let me pull up first, second, third, and we're good. So, third place. Well, let me just pull this up here. I like having it both ways here. All right, third place, the EB400 wireless earbuds goes to Adrian F. from Houston, Texas. Congratulations, Adrian. Kicker will be sending you an email. You get the t-shirt, the unmasked swag pack, everything you guys already looked at. You see what you win. Congratulations, Adrian. Fago's like, come on, come on, come on. All right. Second place, TW2 wireless earbuds, Kicker unmasked swag pack, the whole 9, koozies and all. Russell K from Broken Bow, Oklahoma. Oh, it's definitely rigged. It's definitely rigged. Troy says, I didn't enter because I got here late, so I punished myself. No, Troy, you gotta enter, man. I let it go until the whole hour. Kicker cuts theirs at a half an hour, so you gotta tune in quick for them. Me, I let you go for the whole hour. So next time, vote twice. I mean, you can enter twice, right? Moving on. So first place, we got 2 first places. We got the first place Bullfrog 100, which this guy right here, we all know and love, the Bullfrog 100. He even put this thing on a tripod, wireless, and waterless, hopefully, after you take it in the ocean, because they are waterproof. And that is the pinnacle prize. But then there's another prize after this, 50% off discount code, which I know a lot of people tune in for, specifically because you can use it at anything at kicker.com and you get half off. So that is awesome, one-time code, and you will get an email from me for that. But let's do the Bullfrog 100. First place goes to... I'm going to let it go on the screen. Let you see it. Oh, would you look at that cornut from the Pacific Northwest. It is definitely rigged.
Thank you for supporting Andy. Your super chat goes a long way. Pacific Northwest, baby. Stay living loud.
Even though we lost the playoffs, Pacific Northwest, Russell Wilson, Cornut, it all goes together. Even Johnny Fies from Oregon. Congratulations, Cornut. And, man, now he's almost at the point where he can have 7.2 Dolby with his Kicker Bullfrogs. No, they do not work like that. I'm just kidding. Moving on. But you can pair more than one. Moving on. 50% off discount code. Oh, it's in Arizona. You already seen it. You already seen it. Goes to... Is that... Wait. Is that... Ernie? Nah, Ernie B from Phoenix, Arizona. Congratulations. You got Jake pulled. It's a little rigged, but it's fun, and you just gotta tune in to enter the giveaways, to watch the shows, watch Kicker. You enter on Tuesdays. Hang out with me on the other Tuesday, and check out Kicker Club, Kicker socials all over the place. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in, watching the show, and the winners of tonight, congratulations. You deserve it. And, man, this was a fun show tonight, and Kip was in the background just looking at it, but I appreciate that you're here, Mr. Kipolitzy, and thank you, everyone, for watching. And this was another Kickin' with Andy show, 2025. We started off great, and I will see you guys on the next one. And as always, stay living loud.
Okay. So we're kicking it with Andy, right? You know what that means. We living loud.
Say that enough. Turn it up. We gotta turn it up. There we go. Now we're bumping. Are you clipping now? Can you even hear me? I turned up the gain. It was only halfway up, guys. All right. Appreciate you, Kip. Appreciate everybody. Garrett, Fago, El Fuego, and El Fuego, and Fago, and W, and Ashy, and everyone, CAE, Jason, CM, Ashy, oh my goodness, Ashy. Yes, we need more gain, and the kicker is kicking over there. Would you look at it? Would you just look at it? Cornut's like, I'm taking it with the $2 super chat. Thank you,
Thank you for supporting
Cornut.
Andy.
Appreciate you, man. And Kibo, like clockwork, donated $2. Adios, amigo. Appreciate you guys both. And, oh, man, Cornut's mad. Kibo came in there like, oh, Kibo. Love you guys. Have an excellent week. Stay living loud. And then we dance. Oh, no, 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 no.